Today we're back with another episode of The Footy. We're looking at round 10. We're going to dive into all the numbers, all the goal scorers, all the disposal getters. We'll see what we come out with. Should be some good matchups this weekend. We're in Darwin for the Suns and the Cats. Could be a tough matchup for the Cats up there. It's going to be hot. Got the Swans and the Blues, which is always a fantastic matchup as well. Dogs are taking on the Giants. We've got Saints taking on Freo. There's going to be lots and lots of really, really exciting games to look at, which I'm excited to dive into. If you're watching us on YouTube, please like and subscribe to this because that really helps us out. It's a free way to help grow this channel. Leave a comment as well. You can follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter as well, and leave a review on Apple and Spotify. And a few things are happening at the moment. Sully's still doing his playoff gauntlet challenge, which is going really, really well. I think last I saw he was hitting at about 67% for the Stanley Cup playoffs. So well done to Sully so far. We, in a couple of weeks, now that the NFL draft is done, has been and gone, and the schedule release is also coming up. So we're going to dive into our NFL team previews. That's coming up in a couple of weeks as well, which we're excited to bring you. We're going to go through team by team and just sort of break down our favorite bets, our favorite sort of prop lines. Might be a couple of futures in there as well, but also some trends and things that we learned last year that we believe that we can take with us into this coming season as well. NFL content always does really, really well, so we like to bring that to you as well. As always, before we jump into this episode, never bet more than you can afford to lose. Help us out there if you need as well. We've got plenty of options as well, and talk to people who can help you as well is what I'm trying to say.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.
All right, last week was pretty hit or miss. We've had the Charlie Curnow 2 goals was great, but we fell short on Stephen May by 2 touches. There was a couple of fumbles as the rain came in that game as well. And then Geelong, Port Adelaide, well, we couldn't get the Jeremy Cameron second goal that we needed, and Justin McInerney finished 1 disposal short with 19. That was a absolute bummer, but that's okay. We're going to jump right back into it. You might have already caught we're doing the bus ride. We're going to start with Geelong and the Suns. This game's in Darwin. It's going to be a hot one. It's going to be 30 plus degrees. Doesn't look like there's any chance of rain, but it could be very humid up there as well. And I don't believe that these conditions favor the Cats very much as well. I think this really favors the Suns, in fact, even though they don't play too well on the road. Geelong should be without Jeremy Cameron, though. I believe he's in the concussion protocol, so despite not coming off at the end of that game. Let's start with the Gold Coast Suns. I'm going to look at anytime goal scorers to begin this, and Model really likes Nick Holman, who has had 4 goals on the season and 15 shots at goal, so a really poor conversion rate, but he plays forward. Model likes him. He's had 34 score involvements as well. And you can get him at about $1.95 as well. The other one who's not as good value, $1.26, is Jack Lukosius. He also has 4 goals on the season from 14 shots at goal. So he's been as bad, and there's just not as much value there. So don't really love that. Noah Anderson is at $1.80. He's 7 goals from 12 shots at goal, but he plays through the midfield. So just keep that in mind. And then Ben Ainsworth is the other one that we're sort of looking at. 9 goals from 17 shots at goal, and you can get him for $1.62, which is pretty good value. That one's on PointsBet. I'm kind of looking at Ben King, though. He's had at least 2 goals in the last 5 games. He's at $1.55 to kick 2 goals. He has 25 goals from 39 shots at goal, so good conversion rate for sure, and he's got 41 score involvements as well. So when he's getting the ball, it is more often than not, it's turning into a shot at goal. And from that as well, he is converting them as well. So Ben King, 2+ goals, really, really good odds there. We'll jump into disposals for the Suns. And it has to be said, we're still on Sam Flanders, the YouTube artwork getter for this week of footy. He's been playing really, really well. He had 29 touches last week. His line was 27.5, and he's blown past that more often than not 4 of the last 5 weeks. So you can get some really, really good value on Sam Flanders, and I like the matchup here, particularly in the forward as well. Some other ones that we're looking at. So Sam Closey, he's this new kid for the Suns as well. You might have seen he had a really, really hot start in his first game back in round 4. Last week was his first sort of big game since then. He had 23 touches last week, and he's come on really strong. 17 before that and 14 before that. So if you can get him for 15, by all means. But this 20-plus touches for Sam Closey, he is a low expectation, and he's playing pretty well from there as well. Noah Anderson, another 20-plus game as well last week, 22 touches and 23 the week before that, so we like to see that. Tuke Miller, of course, in the 25-plus touches realm as well. That's always been a good hit as well. He had 29 touches last week as well. We'll jump over now to the Cats, and for anytime goal scorers, so like I was saying, this is going to be a tough one. You can get Ollie Henry at $1.55 to kick 2 goals. He has had 19 goals from 31 shots at goal, so we quite like that. If you want Tyson Stengel, you're going to have to get him for 2 goals for the first time. You can get him at $1.65 to kick 2 goals, 18 goals from 28 shots at goal. I'm just not too sure how I want to play this Geelong card, though. If you can get Hawkins, you can get it 2 goals as well for $1.80. 10 goals from 18 shots a goal. He just has not had much of the ball at all in the last couple of weeks. So that'll be a bit tricky to want to play that. If we're looking at disposals getters, I'm back on Zach Guthrie again. He has been by far one of the most valuable players that you can bet on in the league so far. He's playing way better than expectation. 24 touches last week we were on him. 24 the week before that, 19 and 21. So falling short one of the last 4 weeks, but more often than not, he's really, really good for that. And then if you want to be a bit safer, Brian Myers legitimately has had at least 20 touches in every single game this year. So somewhere between Zach Guthrie and Brian Myers. Wow, I can't believe he's saying that for the Cats. And of course, Max Holmes, just the 21 touches last week, and his line is 22.5. But maybe you can get some good value. I would be inclined to bet the over there. I think that this game will favor Max Holmes of anyone. We'll jump now to the Friday night game. It's the Blues and the Swans. This one's always a cracker. This one's going to be at the SCG, sorry. Swans are favored 12.5 points. We'll start with the Blues for anytime goal scorers. The best value that you can get at the moment seems to be on Tom De Koning. Brought his name up last week, and I did not want to bet on him, and that was not a savvy move because he did actually end up kicking another goal. Harry McKay has come through for 2+ goals if you wanted $1.65. He's 23 goals from 42 shots at goal. That's really nice to see. And then the other power forward, Charlie Curnow, for 2 goals is $1.35, so a bit less there, but 27 goals from 46 shots a goal. You can't really go wrong there. We were on Elijah Hollands last week, and that didn't come through. 6 goals from 9 shots at goal at $1.70. So I think go with the 2+ goal scorers is the way I like to play these ones at the moment. They seem to be coming through more often than not. Anytime goal scorers for the Swans. Model still really likes Errol Goulden, probably more than any other player on the market right now. At $1.65, he has 7 goals from 14 shots a goal and 67 score involvements. So he is getting a fair bit of the ball. But I would be more looking Tom Papley's way. You can get him at $1.20 if you want for 13 goals from 30 shots at goal. So he has not been converting at all. Isaac Heeney still playing really well. $1.35 to kick a goal, and I think he's had at least a goal in pretty much every game this season as well. So 13 goals from 19 shots at goal. And Chad Warner from the middle, 12 from 20. Doesn't look too bad. Will Hayward is the one we've been on as well at $1.30. He plays forward, and you get him from 19 goals from 30 shots at goal. So that's a really nice number. And if you want 2+ goals, you'll have to jump on Logan McDonald. At $1.85, he's 18 goals from 32 shots at goal. Model still quite likes that as a hit rate, though. So 2+ goal scorers is the way I'd go. I'd go with Harry McKay, I'd go with Charlie Curnow, and I'd go with Logan McDonald as well. If we're going to look at disposals getters for the Blues, going to start with Blake Acres, who did have a down game last week, but it was a bit of a funny game for the Blues. They got out to, they couldn't keep up with the D's, and then they did nearly come back and win that game, which would have been pretty epic. Patrick Cripps did have 35 touches though, and Sam Walsh still killing it with 34 touches. So those two playing really, really well together. I'd almost I'm feeling this Sam Walsh 30+ touches. It sounds insane. It sounds ludicrous, but it's coming through, and there's no reason for it to not. So if you can still get value now that Blake Acres went under for the first time in a really long time this season, you could jump back on the value there. It's going to be an interesting matchup. It'll be an interesting game at the SCG as well. So I'd be looking somewhere between Blake Acres to bounce back, Patrick Cripps and Sam Walsh in that general area. If you want as well, Matthew Kennedy had 21 touches last week. Other than when he got injured the week before. Disposals getters for the Swans. Well, it's been a bit up and down. Dean Rampy, who had a really good round 8, and we thought, oh, okay, maybe there's going to be something here. He had a down week last week with just the 14s. That was not good. Isaac Heeney still playing really well, 28 touches last week. His value is insane, though. But betting the over on the 25.5 is his line. That's actually not a bad move. He's gone over more often than not. Ollie Florent, we were on him the week before when he went under his 20-plus touches and under his 18.5 line, and he bounced right back last week with 28 touches. So I like Ollie Florent. I like Errol Goulden for 20-plus, 25. There might not be any value there, so hard to say. His line has been 25.5. He had 25 last week. That could be tricky, but he is actually playing a little bit better, which is kind of crazy to say as well. All right, next one's between the Crows and the Pies. This one is a Saturday day game. This one's at the MCG as well. So Pies back in that daytime spot. I don't know what's happened. They're losing it. They're losing that primetime value. Pies are favourite 20.5, and the over-under for this one is 167.5. So that sounds like a pretty reasonable line there. Anytime goal scorers, we'll start with the Pies. We talked about Nick Dacos already last week, how he wasn't kicking any goals at the start of the season. The model was like, no, he'll kick a goal. Trust me, he'll kick a goal soon. And the same can be said when we get to Christian Petrarca as well. And then in the last 3 weeks, he's kicked 4 goals in the last 3 weeks. So now he's losing the value and he's not really converting. So model still likes him to kick goals because of how many score involvements he's had. But I would jump off him. If you can jump on Bobby Hill. For he's only $1.18 though, so he'd be more of like a last resort, sort of throw them in there. The other one model likes is Will Hoskin-Elliott has sort of started to come on a little bit more. 5 goals from 12 shots at goal at $1.55. It's not bad value. And then Jamie Elliott, I believe he's going to be injured as well, and Lockie Schultz should be back from suspension. So if anything, you could also jump on Patrick Lipinski, who kicked the opening goal last week. At $1.45 for 9 goals from 13 shots at goal with a couple of the forwards for the Pies out. That could be really good value there. For the Crows, Josh Rochelle is the one that will probably jump on this week. He is $1.30 to kick a goal, and he has 10 goals from 21 shots at goal. Isaac Rankin for 2 goals is $1.80, and he's had 19 goals from 34 shots at goal, which is not bad. In fact, it's probably better than Tex, and Tex is a little bit less value at $1.70. 14 goals from 28 shots at goal. So Isaac Rankin, 2 goals could be the go there. It should be an interesting game against the Pies. I'll be interested to see how the defense holds up. And then just the last one, Darcy Fogarty, you'll have to get him for 2 goals now at $1.65. He's 12 goals from 22 shots at goal. It's not great value, I got to say. I would not be betting on that one. If I have to bet 2 goals scorers for the Crows, I'm betting Isaac Rankin or Tex. But even then, Tex is a little bit slow at the moment, so maybe not. We're going to jump on for disposal getters for the Crows. We're still on Jake Saligo, playing really well. 28 touches last week, 28 the week before that, and 23 the week before that. And his line has been sitting around 24.5. So we know that Rory Laird retired a couple of weeks ago, and he hasn't played any games this year. But Jake Saligo has slipped into that role really nicely. Matt Crouch still playing really well as well. 28 touches last week, and his line has been sitting at around 28.5. So it is a huge number, and he hasn't actually hit that. I want to say yet. I want to say since round 4, he hasn't hit that number. So interesting. Maybe we'd look at even a Matt Crouch under if it's still up at 28.5. That's an interesting line there. Josh Rochelle, 15 plus touches has been a pretty good bet as well, it has to be said. He's had 15, 17, 22, 20, and 15 the last 5 weeks. So getting much more involved in the ball. And also, I think that converts well for his scoring shots as well. Disposal getters for the Pies. Now, this might be our new guy, John Noble. No one's talking about him. His line is sitting around 19.5 each week. And he had 25 touches last week. He had 22 the week before that, 19 before that, 18 and 23. So he's getting a lot of the ball from the half back line and he's utilizing it really well. His disposal efficiency has been really good as well. So we might have to jump on a sneaky John Noble overs, which makes me a little bit nervous, but I think it could be there. Nick Dacos has bounced back to form as well. 36 touches last week, 32 the week before that, 27 and 30 and 26. So that's there as well. Brody Mychek as well has not been good. Never mind. We're actually looking at Josh Dacos. Josh Dacos, 28 touches last week, 22 the week before that. The week we were on him when he round 7, he had 16. That was a bummer. But his line has been 23.5, so that's a bit high. But if you can get him for 20 plus touches, let's go back to Josh Dacos. It hasn't always come through for us when we've needed it, but I believe in these kids. They're playing really well. Next game we'll jump on is the Giants and the Bulldogs. This should be an interesting game because the Bulldogs games have gone over the implied total every single week but 2, and definitely 4 of the last 5 weeks as well. Meanwhile, for the Giants, they've not covered the spread. They've covered the spread once in the last 5 weeks. So Giants not playing as well as people expect them to. Dogs games are going over. This could be a really high-scoring game. The line is sitting at Giants favored 14.5, which I like that line for the Giants because the Bulldogs are so hit and miss at the moment. But having said that, I think that this could be a genuine shootout. So if it's going to be a shootout, there's lots of great options. Let's start with the Giants and anytime goal scorers. Toby Green, $1.55 to kick 2 goals. He's had 11 goals from 32 shots at goal. So it hasn't always been there, but when he's been on, he's been really, really on. So that's been good to see. Brent Daniels has really come alive as well. You can get him for $1.50 to kick a single goal, and he's had 10 goals from 19 shots at goal. So that's good value against this Bulldogs defense, who's been very hit and miss. Jesse Hogan, if you want him for 2 goals, it's going to be $1.30, but he's 29 goals from 42 shots at goal, so we like that as well. And coming on strong in the last couple of weeks is Jake Riccardi for the Giants. $1.25 to kick a goal now, and he's 14 goals from 21 shots at goal as well. So that should give you a couple of ideas of who's worth betting on. For the Bulldogs, Model really likes Marcus Bontempelli to kick a goal, and he was way better value at $1.65 earlier in the season. Now he's just $1.25, but he's 14 goals from 22 shots at goal. There's not too much on the Dogs side that's worth betting on, though, and I think they're going to struggle against the Giants defense as well. Riley West is 9 goals from 18 shots at goal. He's $1.40 you can get there. Or you could go Aaron Norton for the 2 goals. He'd be $1.42. So is Jamari Ugle-Hagan. He's also $1.42. 20 of 28 for Aaron Norton and 12 of 32 for Jamar. So huge discrepancy there. But Aaron Norton for 2 plus goals could be worth looking at there. Okay, disposals getters for the Giants. Finn Callahan let us down last week. Luckily, we didn't actually jump on him in the end, but he had 13 disposals and his line was 21.5, so he wasn't even close. Cal Ward was 18 last week. He also didn't get to what we needed with the 20.5. Before that, he was 22 and 22 touches, so not sure what's been happening there. Through the middle, Harry Perryman had 22 touches last week, and Connor Iden. Model likes Connor Iden for 15 plus touches more often than not, and he has started to get a little bit more involved in the ball, but that's a tricky one. I'm not too sure if I want to go there. Tom Green had 34 touches last week, so he's back to fine form. His line sits at 30.5. It's a scary one. It's similar to Sam Walsh, but it's there if you need as well. Do we want to jump back on Finn Callahan for this one? Sure, like he had a down game, but I think he can definitely bounce back from that. And then for the Bulldogs, for disposals, I think it's time that we jump on Bailey Dale. We've been sort of window shopping him for a while now, but 39, 30, 29, and 30 the last 4 weeks. He's been hugely involved. He's really returned to form. So if his line has been sitting around 24.5, let's take the over there. I'd take that up to 26, 27 even, because that's been pretty safe. James Harms has really come on as well in the last couple of weeks. 27 touches last week and 21 touches the week before that. He's been playing through the forward. He's been playing really well. Adam Treloar as well, 41 touches last week. That is insane. 33 the week before that. That's too many. That's crazy. But he has been going over more often than not, depending on what his line has been sitting in sort of like the high 20s, low 30s as well. And Bailey Williams, just a quick shout out, had 29 touches last week as well. Ed Richards as well, 34 touches last week. Ed Richards, you You could go for 20 if you were really keen, but I think I lean more the Giants in this one. Jump now to the Saturday night game at Marvel Stadium. It's between the Saints and Freo. Saints are 2.5-point favourites, and the over-under is 147.5. It's very, very low, but the Saints have gone under the implied total 6 of the last 7 weeks. In fact, they've only gone over their implied total twice this entire season. So hard for them to score, or I guess their defense has also been really, really good as well. And then for Freo, it's not too dissimilar. Just twice in the last 6-7 weeks have they gone over their implied total as well. So I guess that's why the line is sitting so low in this one. We'll start with the Dockers for anytime goal scorers. So could be a sweat if the over-under is going to be so low. Luke Jackson has been $1.35 to kick a goal. He's 8 goals from 16 shots at goal. Don't always love betting on ruckman, but he is one ruckman you can bet on. The other usual suspect names as well, Bailey Banfield, Michael Walters, and Michael Frederick as well. Been kind of sitting around pretty low numbers. Josh Tracy for 2 goals is $1.95, and he's 19 goals from 26 shots at goal. So if anything, I'd probably be looking at Josh Tracy to kick 2 goals in this one. Similarly, for the Saints, Mitch Owens' model likes him to kick a goal more than anyone at $1.30, but he's only 9 goals from 19 shots a goal. And this is a similar story where the Saints just don't have that elite goal scorer. They've got Max King. I wonder if this is a game where he could step up, although Freo defense is really good. $1.50 to kick, I would say that's 2 goals, I imagine. 9 goals from 21 shots a goal, so not a good conversion rate. It's not great value. If anything, you'd probably look Tim Membry's way. For him to kick 2 goals, it's $1.70. He's 14 goals from 25 shots at goal. Though the model is not really expecting him to get 2 goals, definitely 1 goal, but you don't get any value from the 1 goal. So we'll see how that goes. Disposals for Freo. We were on Jeremy Sharp last week, and that came through in a big way. He had 28 touches last week, which is crazy. He's really started to come on. If you want some insane value, Jeremy Sharp is the way we're looking. Caleb Sarong had another great game last week, 34 touches. He's been really worth betting the 30-plus mark more often than not. I've been finding even 25 if you want to be particularly safe. We jumped off Jordan Clark last week, which was a smart thing to do. He had 16 touches, and we jumped on Hayden Young as our new Freo defender that we like to bet on. It started with James Aish, then in the mid, it's turned to Jordan Clark. Now we're on Hayden Young, 23 touches last week. His line was 23.5, so he just fell under by 1, or by half, which is a sad sight to see, but he's been playing really well. If you can get him at 22.5, I like betting that. 20-plus touches as well. Hayden Young has been really, really good value. And then disposals for the Saints. Mason Woodson's coming back from injury. He's been playing well. 21 touches last week and 20 the week before that. So if you can get him for 20-plus touches, don't mind that. There's a few really good options for the Saints, though. Marcus Windhager did have a down week last week, just the 16 touches. So I would expect a bounce back there. But in his place, Riley Bonner stepped up in a huge way. He had 30 touches last week, by far getting his biggest touches, or his disposal line on the season as well. Nasai Wanganeen-Millera, 29 touches last week. I think he's a really safe bet. His line sits around 23.5, and I like betting the over there as well. Josh Battle has stepped up in the last 2 weeks as well. We were on him at the start of the season, then he really fell away, but he sort of started to come back a little bit. I guess he is settling into his newborn baby. Callum Wilkie had 20-plus touches last week and the week before as well. And Jack Steele more often than not as well. He had 30 touches last week. So this is going to be a high disposal game. This is going to be an interesting game. I think it's going to be low scoring. I wouldn't mind betting. It's scary, but I wouldn't mind betting the under the 147 line. The other Saturday night game will be up at the Gabba. It's between the Lions and the Tigers. The Lions are 44.5-point favorites in this one. The over-under is sitting at 169.5. The Tigers have not covered their spread at all in the last 4 weeks. So watch out for that. Lions covered the last 2 weeks. So they've been playing really well. They did have a really good game the other weekend against the Suns as well. So we'll definitely jump on the Lions. For this one at the Gabba, they are starting to return to form a little bit, even though it doesn't seem like it based off of the draw last week in Adelaide. Our favourite to kick a goal is Cam Rayner at $1.65. He's only had 5 goals in the season, but he is playing forward a little bit more now. 14 shots at goal. Joe Danaher, 15 goals from 38 shots at goal, and he's $1.45 to kick 2 goals. I don't love it, though I do expect that to sort of start to regress to the mean, which means he is probably a good chance to kick 2 goals. I like it more than Charlie Cameron as well, who's 12 goals from 33 shots at goal and $1.55 to kick 2 goals. I hate betting on Joe because he plays so poorly all the time, but I kind of like that 2+ goals in this matchup against the Tigers. For the Tigers, if Dustin Martin is playing in this one, $1.30 to kick a goal. He's had 4 goals from 10 shots at goal. Or Shea Bolton for 2+ goals at $1.50, 17 goals from 27 shots at goal. And you could even look potentially Liam Baker's way, or McKelty Lafau as well, who's been playing really well. $1.20 to kick a goal. He's been kicking a lot of goals recently as well. 9 goals from 14 shots a goal. Those are sort of the 2 ways that I'd be looking in this one. But I'd probably stick on the Lions side if we're being honest. If we're looking at disposals for the Lions, Jared Berry, 30 touches last week. His line's been sitting at 20.5, and we've been jumping on him. Similar to what we were saying with Hayden Young, and John Noble, these little diamonds in the rough. These are our guys who are playing a lot better than expectation. Jared Berry. So 30 last week, 23 the week before that, 21 the week before that. He's gone over the line of 20.5 every single week. Hugh McCluggage is still playing really well as well. 31 touches last week, 32 the week before that. So we like what he's doing. And Zorko's been playing over his 24.5 line as well. He's just had 1 down week in the last 5 weeks. But other than that, he's been pretty good. All right, final game of the round that we're going to look at is between the D's and the Eagles. The D's are 30-point favorites, and they've been doing a really good job of covering their spread lately. The over-under is 161.5, so it's looking like a bit of a lower scoring game. Model for anytime goal scorers for the D's. Well, we talked about him last week. Christian Petrarca, he had 5 goals from like 20 shots at goal on the season. He came through and kicked 5 goals last week. So that's definitely boosted up his line, and his value is not going to be as much there. If you want to look someone else's way, Bailey Fritsch to kick 2 goals at $1.42. He's 22 from 36 shots a goal. So that's a really nice number. Cozzy Pickett as well is $1.70 to kick 2 goals. 13 goals from 23 shots at goal as well. I'd probably jump on Bailey Fritsch if we can. And a bit more of a long shot, Alex Neil-Bullen and Cade Chandler, they're both $1.70. They've both got similar numbers. Cade Chandler's got 8 goals on the season. Alex Neil-Bullen has 5, and they've taken 10 and 15 shots a goal respectively. And then for the Eagles, we're still really liking Liam Duggan. And then disposals for the D's as well. It's been a bit of an up and down show for the D's at the moment. People have been really coming and going, dropping in, dropping off. Ed Langdon, of all people, seems to be playing the best for the D's at the moment. 24 touches last week, 21 the week before that, and 24 the week before that. And his line has been sitting at around 19.5 as well. So he's starting to go over it a lot more than expected. He's started to really come on and come into form. Christian Petrarca had 21 touches last week and 21 the week before that. But his line sits up at like 25, 26, 27 most weeks. He hasn't actually reached that total since round 4. If anything, we might look at betting the unders on Christian Petrarca's lines. Could be some good value in that as well. And then we were on Stephen May last week. That didn't come through with the 18 touches. But Trent Rivers has been playing pretty well. We were on Judd McVee earlier in the season, and that has sort of started to drop away. But Trent Rivers has remained pretty relatively consistent. 20 touches last week, 14 the week before that, and 24 the week before that. So a few good options here. Judd McVee, 13 touches last week, 21 the week before that, and 14. So there's not really too much happening there as well for the D's. And then disposals for the Eagles we'll finish with here. Harley Reid's been getting a line of around 16.5, 17.5 for his disposals. You can actually get some pretty decent value on the under there. He did have 17 touches last week, but 14 the week before that, 19 and 27. So he is pretty hot and cold at the moment. The other one that we can look at is Alex Witherden. had 31 touches last week, 20 the week before that. So if you can get him for 20 plus touches, that's looking pretty good out of defense as well. And Liam Duggan is still playing really, really well. We've been on him every week. His line's now up to 22.5, but he had 27 touches last week, 26 before that, and 26 before that. So can't go wrong there with Liam Duggan. Definitely playing a lot better than a lot of the other Eagles players who we haven't really seen anyone step up. Like Tim Kelly, his line's been sitting around 25.5. And I would actually say it's worth betting the unders on Tim Kelly. He's really dropped off in the last couple of weeks as well. Alrighty, that's going to do it for another episode of the Footy Round 10. If you're still watching on YouTube, please like and subscribe. That really helps us out. And follow us on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter as well. Sully's going to continue playing with the Stanley Cup playoff, the Gauntlet Challenge. That's going really, really well. We'll have some NFL content coming your way as well. You can also go back and check out, we did a rookie draft, a live rookie draft as well, which went really well for fantasy football, which was fun to see. Thanks for tuning into the show. Again, as always, enjoy the footy this weekend. We'll catch you soon. Goodbye.
Chances are you're about to lose. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.